What's going on, everybody? It's Davey from the 80s, and you are now entering the Cinema Chop Shop, so park your ass right there. And while you're there, don't forget to hit the like, the share, and the subscribe button. Also, if you check the link below, you'll see a Patreon account. You click it, you become a member. All you got to do is try recommend movies and music and trailers for me to react to. Now, with that being said, I finally did it. You know me, I'm a huge Godzilla fan, you know what I'm saying? And with that being said, you know I had to do it. I had to go ahead and react to Godzilla Singular Point, the Netflix animated series. Now, the show itself, quick synopsis, there's a group of scientists, two groups of scientists, and basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to stop this huge catastrophic event from taking place that's supposed to destroy the world and all that good stuff. And that big event just so happens to be Godzilla popping out of the red mist. You know what I mean? So this whole show is how they need to stop this event from taking place. Cracking the code, all that good stuff. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The first half of the season dragged. Like, it dragged. If those main characters were not interesting, because those were the only things that kept me invested. If those main characters were not interesting, I'm sorry, but I would have tuned out of that show a long time ago. Me personally, I was watching it, and if it wasn't for the main cast, I probably would have tuned out. But the main characters of the show were really interesting, and they kept me invested and entertained long enough until Godzilla popped up, and then that's when everything got a little bit more interesting. And it's not because I'm a huge guy. I mean, I am a huge Godzilla fan. But the show got a lot more interesting when Godzilla arrived. And that's not because I'm a huge Godzilla fan. That's just because when Godzilla arrives, the stakes were raised. Everything became a little bit more critical. And that's what made the show intensify a lot more. So once Godzilla picked up in about episode 8, I think, and up, episode 8 and up, fire. Everything else from that, kind of like they're mid-grade or they're just kind of bad. Like I said, if it wasn't for the main characters in the show, I probably would have tuned out a long time ago. But the fact that this show has an amazing score and uses the original scores from the Godzilla movie, fire. Those are like extra points added to the score. This show, I didn't like Jet Jaguar's design. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I hated it. Especially when I was looking at the prototypes at first and looking at the toys, and then I saw the trailer. I was like, yo, I hate this guy's design. I hate the way it looks. But low-key, it started to grow on me. As the show progressed, then he started to upgrade a little bit more and more. His design started to grow on me. Like, that whole clanky, I'm going to fall apart, a child built me design, like, it started to grow on me after a while. Like, I really started to enjoy Jet Jaguar throughout the show. He freaking grew on me. And, I mean, I've never been a huge Jet Jaguar fan. I have like a Jet Jaguar figure and everything like that from Playmates, but I've never been like a huge Jet Jaguar fan. But I did like the Megalon movie. I'm not even gonna lie to you. You know, like, he's always been a cheesy character, but the fact that they brought him in this show and made him such a freaking dope character, kudos to them, because at the end of the season, you really give a damn about Jet Jaguar. Like, Jet Jaguar is it. You know what I mean? This whole show gives off freaking Shin Godzilla vibes. Like, I'm watching the show, Godzilla had multiple transformations, how every time he was defeated or you think he was defeated, he freaking rose back up again. Because I think at one point he kind of like froze over and then broke apart and then kind of evolved again. This show really gives you Shin Godzilla vibes. Really, a lot of Shin Godzilla vibes. And ain't nothing wrong with that, you know. But like I said, it was pretty dope. They also gave you a really cool way of hitting at Mothra. You know, I'm pretty sure everybody caught that. They have nods to the old school films like the Oxygen Destroyer. We also get to see a quick glimpse of the full version of Rodan. I thought that was a really clever way how they were trying to explain. I was wondering, I was sitting there the whole time, how are they going to make these tiny pterodactyls into Rodan, a monster that can compete with Godzilla? Either one of these alpha Rodans is going to have to grow. I don't know what's going to happen. And then as soon as I saw what they did with it, how they basically swarmed together and created a huge Rodan, I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I could rock with that. But at the same time, like, you know, he got bodied real quick by Godzilla. So I really like the animation for the most part, but at some moments the animation did look a bit wonky, especially like the 3D kind of animation effect. There was one moment where I think the final version of Godzilla showed, and it looked really, really strange. Some of the shots of the Godzilla looked really weird. And I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, yo, like all the the fight between Jet Jaguar and the spiders and all that cool stuff. The spiders with the little megalon claws. Like I was looking at the animation. I'm like, yo, this all looked tight. It looked cohesive. It was dope. But then like when Godzilla first appeared, it just looked weird. Like I don't know. Like I didn't like the way that it looked. Um, but I mean, for the most part, the animation was on point. I love that they used the original roars and sound effects from the Godzilla. You hear Godzilla's roar. You hear freaking Rodan's roar. You hear Anguirus' roar, like slightly. By the way, Anguirus' design is pretty dope. I like Anguirus' design. And then he has like a new ability or something where he can kind of see into the future or whatever. That was pretty cool. And then how Jet Jaguar made a weapon out of his spike. That was pretty dope. But again, carrying on, I really loved how they basically tried to stick to the originals. They used original roars, original scores, and things like that. Godzilla's design, his final design, kind of reminded me of the Japanese painting or the Japanese painting, the Great Wave of Kanagawa. If you guys are familiar with it, it's the one with the waves. But you've noticed that a lot of people have interpreted their own versions of that famous art piece. They add monsters and things to it, so it kind of reminds me of that art style. Like I've seen artists actually put Godzilla on that type of painting with that type of art style, and he kind of reminds me of the way that he looks like in this show. Um, Also, with the teaser at the end of the episode, at the end of the season, I cannot wait until until season 2 gets there, and then we get to see Mecha Godzilla in action. Mecha Godzilla looked dope. He looked like a freaking vengeful samurai. I thought that shit looked epic. Overall, I quite enjoyed this show, and if it wasn't for the second half, dude, I would have to like body this show or give it a meh. But because that second half was so fire, I am going to spare this show.
He ain't earned the death. He ain't earned the death at my hands. God's only man, spared by the butcher.
Yes, you heard it, folks. I am sparing this show. I recommend for you to watch it, especially as a Godzilla fan. If you're not a Godzilla fan, you probably will not like it because there are tidbits in there from the Godzilla franchise that that us fans pop over. Original scores, original roars, uh, old school monsters that we were seeing. We're rolling with the vibes, man. Oxygen destroyers and all that good stuff. So that's my review. Let me know if you agree or disagree, whatever the case may be. Drop it in the comment section down below. And you are now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop. I hope you guys are having a magnificent day. And adios, homies.